Wow, that's a flashlight? Alright. Just to make me blind. Yeah! I paid them, I guess. Okay, anyway, so yeah, I want to talk to you about prototyping augmented reality experiences. It's kind of a new topic that we're thinking a lot about right now in my lab, and it's obviously not just my work, so I put a bunch of people that help me with that. Why do I think about augmented reality experiences? They are coming, right? So one example of an augmented reality experience is me. In this room, I'm augmenting your experience. Right, okay, that was not funny. Anyway, so we are thinking about, now you got it. So obviously, we always think a lot about iterative design. We start on paper. If you're a practitioner, paper is probably something that you really like. The problem with augmented reality experiences, which are essentially experiences that happen virtually, using your smartphone and things like that, is that we lack tools. Right now, the common designer thinks about designing either for desktop or for mobile. In reality, we often have to create interfaces that actually run on both platforms. Our users use all kinds of devices, and so it's very interesting to think about how do we actually really design for this whole landscape. And yes, we have responsive design, and that's all nice, but it's going to get a little bit more complicated over the next few years. One thing that we've been doing a lot in my lab is actually designing experiences that are kind of what I call cross-device interfaces that embed logic that actually can adapt to different kinds of devices. And we work a lot on different kinds of authoring tools and design methods, and I just wanted to share with you one tool that we're working on right now. And we are getting ready towards basically designing for this new kind of environment where people start wearing virtual reality headsets, augmented reality headsets, or using all kinds of new devices that we literally have no idea how to design for. So this is an example of IKEA Place, which allows you to essentially, before you buy the furniture, place it virtually into your home and see whether it will actually fit. So this is a pretty typical augmented reality application. And so my question to you is, how would you prototype this mobile augmented reality app at the moment? And so my point here is that we're actually lacking methods and tools. And so what I want to share with you is a couple of experiences of actually different kinds of design jams that we're doing in my lab on almost a weekly basis. So here you see a project, essentially like a paper prototype, where students try to go through this experience, prototyping this furniture placement app for mobile augmented reality experiences. And then I actually threw in some Play-Doh, because Play-Doh is actually like a cool way to design 3D objects. I can't use 3D tools. I'm not sure what it's like for you, how good you are with existing 3D tools, but I'm not. But if you use Play-Doh, and I've actually archived most of them, actually they died over Christmas, but I had most of these archived in my lab, and it's really cool to see how these early skills, we are born with prototyping skills using Play-Doh, how they work. This is a setup that we've been using in design jams. You see various components. Obviously we work a lot with mobile phones. We have a lot of Play-Doh on here, and we use kind of like a green screen made of paper. And I wanted to walk you through a little bit how we do this. So obviously we're working on a new tool here that I want to use in classrooms and in teaching environments, but I wanted to share with you. Well, I'll walk you through a couple of things that we're actually doing with this tool, and then I want to wrap up and tell you really about the lessons learned. So I guess I actually have to talk, so what you see here is a little bit how I use paper. Obviously, then I try to transition. One of the key issues is actually to transition from paper to digital. So one thing that we do here is transition with paper, and we can do the same as Play-Doh. What you do is actually just use your mobile phone, you create kind of like a video of the object, and then you can kind of virtually experience it from different angles using markers. Those of you who have seen augmented reality experiences before probably think this is rather boring, but there are a couple of things that actually happen behind the stage. To transition from paper and from Play-Doh to digitally, we have to create different kinds of perspective renderings to really give you the experience of viewing a small little object that was done in Play-Doh in 3D space. You also need to edit multiple layers. If you want to design a mobile app for mobile augmented reality experiences, you have to take care of a 2D layer, a 3D layer, and so on. The last step that we actually need to think about is how do we actually capture these kinds of Play-Doh objects so that we can preview our augmented reality apps. And here we've been playing around with different ways of creating these perspective renderings. So I think this is an exciting new kind of type of interface that many of us will be designing in the future for. If you haven't done virtual reality, augmented reality is definitely going to come, and I'd be happy to chat with you more about this later on. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Michael.